Hello everyone, Rahul here. Today we are going to take the fifth chapter of the economic survey. And the name of the chapter is Mother and Child. So before that, congratulations everybody for the heart-wrenching win of India over Bangladesh. Like in the last three balls, my heart skipped a beat or two. And also very happy Holi to all of you. And also one sad news is that today Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru were hanged. So let's move ahead with the topic mother and child. So first of all, why should we invest on the low cost maternal and child health programs? For that you have to suppose that the government, if government were an investor trying to maximize India's long run economic growth. So if the government has fiscal and capacity constraints, that is, it has limits to how much it can spend. So where would the government spend? So it is found that some of the highest economic returns on public investment in human capital in India lie in maternal and early life health and nutritional interventions. So that's why we need to invest on low cost maternal and child health programs. So let's see the points. First of all, the most rapid period of physical and cognitive development. Physical means bodily development, height, weight, which should be normal according to the age. The height to weight ratio, that we call it like we also have body mass index. Also cognitive and development, that is ability to understand and bring and take out conclusions from something you have read or understood. So this occurs in womb, that is the fastest growth of physical and mental development occurs in womb. So womb means in uterus, and they affect significantly the outcomes in adulthood. Suppose the mother provides very good nutrition to the child when the mother is pregnant for 9 months. She takes supplements, vitamins and whatever is required like folic acid and iron tablets. So the child will be much healthier and much brainier. Okay. The second point is the success of subsequent interventions also are influenced by early life development. Obviously, when the child is strong mentally and physically from the start, he will not be ill. He can understand things better. His neurons networks will be very strong in the brain. That is, more the networks, more the ability to retain the things in mind. So let's move ahead. Now India is progressing, but generally it underperforms on these social indicators of maternal and child health. As you know that we are constantly decreasing our infant mortality rate as well as our maternal mortality rate. But the pre-pregnancy weights and weight gain during pregnancy of mother are both low as compared to the international standards. The next point is that we are already halfway through the democratic dividend, which requires us to take full advantage of our healthy and educated population. But they can be healthy and educated only when they get better nutrition and like take preventive measures like sanitations and take the deworming tablets, etc., etc. So what is demographic dividend? Demographic dividend is a period of usually 20 to 30 years when the fertility rates fall due to significant reduction in child and infant mortality rates. Now it is timely to discuss how India should allocate its human capital investments, because India is currently in the middle of a demographic dividend, a period of time when population changes give economic growth a boost by expanding the working age share of the population. Obviously, our like 65% of our population is under 35 years of age. So we have lot of people who are in the working age group, and they can feed the children as well as the older people, like those who are above 59 years, 60 years of age, or who have retired. That is, they are dependent on the working people. Okay. So research has also suggested that capitalizing on the demographic dividend accounts for worth 1/3 of East Asian growth miracle. You know, East Asian economies are called butterfly economics because they grew very fast till 96, 97 before they fell down due to the East Asian crisis. So why they grew? Because they had a demographic dividend, or most of the population was in working age group. Okay. So India also has the demographic dividend till 2035. That is, the working age population will increase till 2035. That is, we have different researches of the when our demographic dividend will be there, till what time our demographic dividend will be there. So the different researches give a window of 6 years, like 2035 to 2040 our population will increase. That is, we have at least 25 more years to exploit this dividend, and then the population gradually will become older, so the dependents will be more, like the condition of Japan today. It has more old age people than the working age population. So for India, demography is opportunity, it is not destiny. So let's move on to the third point. So making these investments in child and maternal nutrition, and also we need to make them aware about sanitations and enhancing the effectiveness by working to change the social norms. This sanitation or the social norms, like open defecation, that people poo outside. So this should be changed only through the training and education awareness given to the rural people, as mostly rural people do open defecation, which leads to many diseases, and also more neonatal mortality. Okay. So economists agree that human capital, that is, what is human capital? Human capital is physical health, education, and other broader capabilities like cognitive development and all, is a key determinant to countries' growth potential. Obviously, when its population will be healthy, it will be more educated, it would have skills to do the required jobs in different sectors. It will increase the growth of a country. The government's investment in skill training. Now government has invested in skills through schemes like Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushalya Yojana. Similarly, government's investment in tertiary education like IITs, IIMs, and AIMS like institutions, and also schooling, which should also be seen as an investment in the productivity of tomorrow's worker. Okay. Now everybody knows that in companies we have human resources development, department, and we have MBA also in human resources. So when will these humans become resources? Only when they have skill education to perform a certain task, and also they will be healthy, that they don't take leave or be absent from work due to their health issues. But before becoming a worker, it is child. A child becomes a worker only when it has developed healthily and have got proper education. So today's child is tomorrow's worker. Today the child before becoming a child, it is fetus. And also evidence from epidemiology. Epidemiology means study of diseases. Evidence from epidemiology and economics suggests that events which occur while a child is in the womb of mother, or it is very young, that is below the age of 2 years, it has a significant impact over the cognitive development and health in adulthood. Now, like some of the qualities of our body as well as of our mind, we gain through genes. or DNA that we inherit from our parents, but many other requirements that we need for our health as well as education or mind, we get through the environment in which we develop. That is, in womb for 9 months, a baby develops, or a fetus develops in mother's womb. What type of food she is taking? Is she doing exercise? Does she have a positive atmosphere at home? All these influence the development of the child inside the womb. And outside also, before 2 years, what kind of nutrition is given? Is the mother breastfeeding the child for the first 6 months? How is mother giving various kind of medicines and vaccination? All these determine the future of the child. So the government needs to exploit this window. So let's move ahead. Now the economic survey shows a graph of countries in which they have plotted GDP growth versus infant mortality at economic takeoff. That is, infant mortality at economic takeoff is when the economy starts to grow fast, is the takeoff of the economy. So at that time, what was the infant mortality? You see here, this is infant mortality at takeoff, and this is average GDP growth over 20 years. So those countries who had infant mortality low before the vigorous start of their growth, they are mostly at higher GDPs for the 20 years average of GDP growth. Okay, like China, it is at above 10% average growth over the 20 years. Singapore is approximately 9%. Korea is approximately 8%. Now this is India. India had high infant mortality rate. So among the Asian countries which are represented in yellow, India has lower GDP. See, 5.5% approximately India has lower GDP. Okay. So it is not a completely, you can't say that growth is completely dependent upon the infant mortality, but infant mortality influences it. So this graph is showing that. So what conclusion we get? Countries with better maternal and infant health at takeoff grew faster over the subsequent 20 years. Okay, so let's move ahead. Why early childhood care is important? It is because most rapid period of physical and cognitive development of a person's life occur in the womb of the mother, and it also depends upon the mother's health and nutrition at that time. Okay, now economic research also suggests that health hazards like influenza epidemic, like being born in a low rainfall year, which can lead to drought, or the problem of having food by the poor farmers or poor population, polluted air during the period in which the fetus is in womb, may be causing factor of diseased condition or weakness in the fetus, which will be very difficult to overcome when the fetus becomes fully developed and takes birth. Okay. So the next point is dynamic complementarities in human capital accumulation is required because early life conditions affect cognitive development. Now what does it mean, dynamic complementarities? It means that a healthy mother is more likely to give birth to a healthy baby who learns better and stays on in school longer because of his good learning and his liking towards the education. Thus, skill gives birth to skill. Indeed, medical research has shown that low birth weight children benefit less from early life cognitive stimulus programs, suggesting that dynamic complementarities may start quite early in life. Okay, so that means if you give better nutrition and better environment to mother early, that is just pre-pregnancy or post-pregnancy or during pregnancy, you get better outcomes from the child. Okay, So the below figure, the figure 2, represents the human capital accumulation and the demographic dividend. Now if mother health is to be taken care of, early life conditions needs to be good: iron, folic acid tablets, some vitamin supplements, and ghee and all whatever your mother-in-law provides to the daughter-in-law. Then health of environment, very happy atmosphere in family, regular walking and little bit stretching. All this will help in preparing the human capital, which will be imbibed in the child physically as well as cognitively. Now this human capital will be developed by schools, and the education will further lead to skills and economic growth of the country, which can be taken advantage as we call demographic dividend. So let's move ahead. Now these graphs, figure 3 and 4, shows a meta-analysis, that is a very wide scale study depicting how the returns to human capital investment vary with the age of the child. The each dot that you see in the graph is an estimate taken from research paper which examined a particular program or intervention that we made, and its impact on the cognitive ability or test scores. The graph 3, it shows the effect on the test scores of the various interventions like this. I will just explain you. And the other graph shows you effect on the adult income of various interventions. Okay. Now the x-axis, we have age of the child, that is when it is before 0, it means during pregnancies 9 months. Okay, here also. So as we see, when we have iodine supplementation during pregnancy, what we see here, we have 0.5 or 50% increase in the test scores. When we give just after the birth good early life nutrition and deworming tablets, we have just approximately 20 to 22% improvement in nutrition as well as better improvement in test scores. Similarly, when we give nutritional supplement at 3 years of age to the child, we have approximately 25% increase in the test scores of the child, and so on and so forth. You see, as we go ahead, we have decrease in the percentage improvement of the test scores and also more money spent on the programs. Okay. Now in the second graph, we see effect on the adult income. Now when the intervention nutritional supplement is given just after the birth, like 1 year of age, what we see? We see 12% approximately or 15% increase in adult income. Similarly, when we give breastfeeding, it has relatively much improvement in the income, 33 or 34% effect on adult income. Similarly, when we give nutritional supplement, we have huge increase of 45%. Here also, when we give hookworm tablets, we have huge increase of 42% in the adult income, that is when the child becomes adult. But later the intervention, that is secondary schooling, at the time of 15 years, we have very little effect on the adult income. Okay, so what it essentially depicts is that we should do all these things as early as possible. So two things are noticeable from these graphs. First of all, the returns to investment appears highest for programs that target young children and in utero health, that is in womb. The second point is programs targeting young children also appear relatively cheap in comparison to programs that we invest money in the older children. Okay, like I told you about iodine supplementation, which was relatively cheaper when it was given to the fetus in womb of the mother, compared to improving the teaching quality or redesigning institutions to raise school accountability and quality of education. And also arguably it requires, that is iodine supplementation requires less service delivery capacity from the state. So as such, on both the benefit and the cost side, early life investment represents a very good opportunity for fiscal and capacity constrained governments. Fiscally constrained means it has less money to spend on the programs. Capacity constrained means it has less public servants or workforce to spend time or devise programs for the interventions. So let's move ahead. Now, what is the state of childs in India? Like, how are they performing? So this figure represents the height for age in urban, that is the left graph is for urban and the right graph is for rural India. Now, height is a good proxy for early life conditions and also a predictor of later life outcomes, because both height and cognitive development are partly determined by the early life environment and net nutrition. A child's net nutrition, what is net nutrition? A child's net nutrition, where I should write, here I am writing. A child's net nutrition is sum total of nutrition available from the mother. Okay, that is when the nutrition is given in womb and breastfeeding, that is a nutrition from mother. The quantity and quality of the food that complements breast milk from 6 to 24 months, that is 6 months to 2 years. Whatever external supplements and very like a viscous kind of food we give to the child till 2 years. And third, the energy losses, I should keep it in minus because it decreases nutrition. Energy losses due to the diseases and infection and poor absorption of nutrients. Okay, so this is called net nutrition. Now you see these two lines are a comparison of National Family Health Service 2005-6 and Survey of Children in 2013 and 14. Because National Family Health Survey 4 is not out yet, so we are using Rapid Survey of Children. Okay, so what we see during the 2005-2006 period, we have approximately between 1.5 and 2 centimeter height increase for the time period, within the time period of this whole 20 to 60 months. Here it is age in months, so this means 20 to 60 months means approximately 1.5 years to 5 years of age. Okay, so during this time the height is increasing very less for these ages. You are seeing that, but during the time period in 2013-14 we have seen a decline in the later age. Like initially we have a good increase in height for age, but later we have a downfall, but it is still more than 2005 and 6. That is, we have improvement. Now in rural also it is the same case, but the difference is very less when the child becomes 5 years of age. Initially difference is more, so this means we have improved the child's, like in the first and second year of child, but the later years it has declined significantly, but still it is more than 2005 and 6. So these indicators of poor early life health have later life human capital consequences. So most countries show a height cognitive development gradient. Okay. So what do we have the what observation we have from the graph? First, there has been improvement over time in both and urban rural area, as we see in 2013-14. The children are on an average taller than the 2005-6. The second point is this persistent rural urban height gap. Obviously, rural people have less height as compared to urban ones, but they have closed in over the past decade, but the gulf is still significant. So despite the progress made, India remains a negative outlier. That is, it is much lesser than the average height standards for a particular age in the world. So our children on an average are 2 standard deviations shorter than the average. Suppose this is average, this is 1 standard deviation, this is 2 standard deviation. We are here. This is average of world countries. This is of India. So we are lagging behind a lot. Now the other thing the economic surveys mentions is ability to read versus height. That is, does height have a relation with the person's ability? Obviously it has, because better the height, better is the ability to read, as it has been seen. So now this Indian Human Development Survey data was taken from 2005 and 2012. So what do we see in 2005 is in blue color. What do we see in 2012 is in red dotted line. So what do we see that the height is in centimeters of 10-year-old girls and 10-year-old boys. So when the height is between 100 to 110 centimeters, we see a decline in ability to read among the girls, and later it increases in both years 2005 also and 2012 also. But in 2012 we are seeing a more decline in the ability to read the paragraph or English or Hindi or whatever native language a person is told to, or a child is told to read. This happens in the case of girls. That is, we didn't have a significant cognitive development of girls with height during all these years. So this requires us to have focus more on the girls. But in the case of boys, we see a consistent rise. Okay, this is also of 100 to 160 centimeters. So when the person is between 100 to 20 centimeters, there is a rise, and it goes on continuously rising. While girls have a fall, then again they rise after approximately 115 centimeters. But boys have a consistent rise. So boys' cognitive development is proportional to height, as we see. But still what we see is, for the height till 100 centimeters, we have a huge gulf. That is, for children with height 100 centimeters, 0 to 100 centimeters, there is decrease in the ability to read, which should be a source of concern for Indian development experts as well as the academicians and administrators. So what conclusion we draw from the graph? First of all, taller Indian children are considerably better readers. Obviously, when you see added to 160 centimeters, we have much better readers. Now, please keep in mind, these people all are in the same age groups. Like these 10 years are only of height 100 to 110 centimeters. These 10 years are of height 110 to 130 centimeters. And these 10 years, who are much taller than the previous two, are much better cognitively. They can read a great lot than the other two. Here also, but just here we see a consistent rise. Here we see a dip. That is, shorter people are better readers than the medium people, and higher people are much better readers. Okay. So the first point tells that is the fraction of boys able to read increased from 40 to 60% as height increases from 115 to 135 centimeters. So this gradient has been relatively stable over time as we see consistent rise. The levels absolute reading ability of people have not increased over time. As you see, it has on the contrary fallen. See, the blue lines, the red lines have fallen below the blue, but blue is 2005 data and the red one is 2012 data. So thank you everyone. I hope you like this lecture. So please like, comment and subscribe to www.decipheris.com. Please like our Facebook page, and happy Holi everyone.